Welcome to the Coach's Corner Show. I'm Alex LeMay, now joined alongside Warriors head coach Garrett Roth. With the guys back on the ice for training camp after some time off, how has it been like developing the players and seeing them back on the ice?
You know, a lot of our recruiting was through video with the pandemic and everything. So to be able to see them all in person and compete against one another was great for us as a coaching staff. It was imperative for us to make sure that we instill, some of our core beliefs and values as a coaching staff that we want our players to possess. And so, we're going to be a team that wants to play fast. We're going to compete hard, and our guys demonstrated those abilities through our scrimmages over the past 2 weeks.
What player has maybe surprised you through training camp that fans should keep an eye on in the home opener?
You know what? It's one of those things where I think we have a really good group as a whole. We're not going to rely on any particular player to kind of lead the way. As far as on ice, the biggest thing for us is we have a really good veteran leadership group. We have a lot of players that have junior experience. So for us, we definitely need to roll through our lines and have everyone be a big part of our success on the ice. So, we have a lot of talented players that we are going to rely on special teams and, when we need a big goal. But overall, it's going to be our team identity and a team focus as far as winning hockey games.
So you named your team captains this week, Jackson Wozniak captain, Vincent Corcoran, and Brennan Couette assistant captains. What went into that decision, and how are those guys leaders on this team?
Well, we have a number of players, like I mentioned, that have junior experience. We have a lot of players that wore letters with previous teams, and so, it was a lot of thought, and as a coaching staff through training camp, we were evaluating every player, and we had the players vote on who they felt would be good leaders and guys that could help lead the team. And Jackson Wozniak, obviously, it was a situation that he was a unanimous decision by all the players, which wasn't unexpected to myself and Coach Kelly. We kind of anticipated that being how things were going to shake out, just because from the moment I had the first conversation with him on the phone, you could tell that he was just a natural leader and someone that players would gravitate towards. So, as far as, naming him captain, that was a very easy decision. As far as our assistants, Vinny Corcoran and Brennan Couette, both of them are veterans in the league. They both instill a lot of confidence in their approach on the ice and off the ice. They're well respected in the locker room, and they're guys that, some of our first year players, if they have questions, they're very welcoming as far as being able to be accessible and answer questions. And that's something that as a group we need to create a good culture, and we feel that those three guys as leaders of this hockey team are going to instill that culture as a coaching staff we want to create, and we're really excited about this group moving forward.
With all the experience in the league already with guys that you've brought in, there's also a lot of guys who are first-year guys. What's it been like for those guys through training camp getting incorporated here?
It's been a learning experience, and being able to play 7 exhibition games and have every player play in just about 4 of those gave them game repetitions that they can kind of fall back on once we get into the regular season. But once the regular season gets going, everything happens a little faster. The compete level gets cranked up a bit, and so the biggest thing for us is we just want those first-year guys to compete, have a good work ethic, and do everything it takes to try to help the team have success on the ice. They're going to make mistakes. It's part of the game. The biggest thing for us is if we can compete, if we can work hard and play fast, we feel that we're going to put ourselves in a really good position at the end of the day to win hockey games.
You picked up goaltender Ryan Ullman. He's coming over now to the team to join Ryan Bartoskiewicz. What's that been like? I know you've coached him before at Bismarck. He had a 2.31 goals against average last season with the Bobcats. What's it like picking him up, and what can he add to this team?
Well, it's a big addition for us. Obviously, Owen, he's a first-year guy. He's an 03, so he's young, but he has confidence, and he has swagger that you need, a goaltender to be successful. So we're excited about him, as one of our 2 goalies. Being able to add Ryan Ullman, who is a veteran of the league. He's played a lot of games at this level. There's stability there. There's security. That when he gets the opportunity to get between the pipes, that he's going to give your team a chance to win every night. And you know, at this level, you know, through a 52-game season, you need 2 goaltenders that you can rely on that can play a big part of your hockey team and help you win hockey games. So ultimately, it was an area that we really wanted to focus on so that we could have 2 guys that we felt any given night can give us a good chance to win a hockey game. And so to be able to bring Ryan in here, obviously having a relationship with him for the last 3 years and knowing what he's all about, it was a really easy decision for our coaching staff to know that he'd be the right guy to come in here and compete.
That is Warriors head coach Garrett Roth. I'm Alex LeMay. We'll be right back on the Coach's Corner Show. Up next, captain and forward Jackson Wozniak. Welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show. I'm Alex LeMay, now joined alongside Warriors forward and captain Jackson Wozniak. Jackson, growing up in Cypress, California now, what led you to start hockey at such a young age?
You know, being from California, a lot of people don't think there's tons of hockey out there, but with having 3 NHL teams and tons of youth programs, and it was really kind of easy, you know, and it was actually my dad's friend from work that got me into it, and started with a little church roller hockey team, and kind of that was how I got my start, was roller hockey and then eventually ice hockey.
Oh, nice. How much of an influence have your parents been through this whole process, from youth hockey until now?
You know, my parents have been a big part of it, you know, just always supporting me and kind of never pushing me too hard, but just knowing my potential and stuff like that, and just kind of, you know, being there when may have not have thought they were, but, you know, they always had my back through it all.
What factors drew you to the team here in Wichita Falls to join the Warriors?
Really the coaching staff. They're really great guys and easy to talk to, and you know, a lot of the players here all kind of have the same mindset of, you know, they want to win games and they want to have fun doing it.
You were named a captain of the team this week. What does it mean to you to get that nomination, first off, and second off, what's it mean to lead the team?
You know, it was really flattering hearing all the boys and, you know, how they wanted me to be captain, and makes me feel really good about myself and lets me know I'm kind of doing the right things. And, you know, it's just about continuing to build relationships with guys and, you know, making sure everyone's got the straight head on, and that's just kind of what it means for me. And, you know, a lot of these younger guys are in the same position that I was my first year, and it's about helping them kind of get through it and learning the process. Touching
on the young guys there, what piece of advice would you give them in their first year in this league?
For them, I try to tell them just to keep making it fun, you know what I mean? And you never know when you're gonna mishandle a puck or make a bad play. It's about not worrying about it and just keep going and know the guys have your back.
What's one player that has surprised you in training camp that fans should keep their eye out for?
I think the guy that we should really keep an eye out for is Salt. I think once he gets his feet moving, he's a pretty fast player and can make some plays.
We'll be right back. Coming up next on the Coach's Corner, Vincent Corcoran, defenseman and assistant captain. Welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show. I'm Alex LeMay, joined now alongside defenseman and assistant captain Vincent Corcoran. Now, you spent last season with Topeka, the Pilots.
Yep.
Then they relocated to Kansas City, and you were supposed to play for the Scouts this year, but they suspended their operations for the season. So what was that process like from that and now coming to Wichita Falls to play for the Warriors?
Well, when I got the phone call from my coach last year, I really didn't know where I was going to play next year. And then Roth gave me a call a week before they did the dispersal draft and was asking me if I wanted to come and play in Wichita Falls, and I said of course, because didn't have anywhere else to play for the year.
Now that you've been here for about a month or so, you've been on the ice with the team. What's it been like gelling with this team and getting to know these guys?
It's been fun. I didn't know anyone besides one or two guys before coming here, but yeah, it was really welcoming. It was easy to get to know people.
Now, with your experience in the past in the NAHL and specifically in the South Division, what can you bring to this team as a franchise starting out this season in the South Division?
I think that we could possibly be a top 2 team in this division if we just come play hard every night. just work hard. Yeah.
You're named an assistant captain by your teammates this week. What does it mean to you, and how can you help lead the team moving forward?
I mean, I feel honored to be voted assistant captain by my teammates. Moving forward, I think I could just lead by example on the ice and just let my play do the talking.
So I know you're from Plainfield, Illinois. What's it been like coming down here to Texas and the difference and growing up playing hockey in Plainfield?
Well, during my youth career, I played almost on the same team for like 8 or 9 years. And then I went over to Topeka for my first year away from home. And it was really different, like the landscape, like how everyone was. And then coming here, it's kind of like, almost like Topeka too. It's like the same kind of setup. And yeah, just getting to work with the community is fun.
All right, well, thanks, Vincent. We'll be back on the Coaches Show. Up next, defenseman and assistant captain as well, Brennan Couette. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show. I'm Alex LeMay, now joined alongside defenseman and assistant captain Brennan Couette. Brennan, you spent 3 seasons in the NAHL, 1 with Minnesota, 2 with Minot. How has that helped you in this process here at Wichita Falls?
Definitely, I think it's just given me a lot of experience with on-ice things, off-ice things, knowing just kind of the highs and the lows of a season and being able to help players that haven't had any junior experience yet just kind of get through those lows.
Now, you've been working with the defensive pairings all throughout training camp. Who's one defenseman that fans should have their eye on?
Definitely some of our older guys. Mac Wiseman, Cole Telecki. He's a really good young defenseman. Jack Blanchett. He's going to be really, really good when he gets a little older. But we have a really strong decor this year.
So now you spent the 3 seasons we touched on in the Central Division. Now you're in the South Division. The style play is a little different. What are you looking forward to most playing in the South?
Yeah, they're actually very different. The Central is a really, really tight-locked division. Every night it's kind of a 1-goal game. Definitely, I'm very interested to see how the South will play out. Preseason games is a little bit different than regular season games. The pace is always up in the regular season, so I haven't really got my first taste of it yet, but I'm excited to see what it's like.
Speaking of coming to the South, you're from St. Michael, Minnesota. What's it like been in that transition down here to Wichita Falls and beforehand starting growing up playing hockey in Minnesota?
Yeah, it's actually a really big difference. Here it's always 80 degrees and you're sweating a little bit when you're outside, and I looked at the weather today and it was 32 degrees and 5 inches of snow. But yeah, growing up playing hockey in the Midwest is definitely a hot spot. Minnesota is definitely a hot spot where hockey's everywhere. It is a little different coming to Texas where the hockey community isn't as big, but I think it'll be really awesome to see the hockey community grow in Wichita Falls.
So what are you looking forward to most on game night?
Really just seeing how the guys react, just seeing how they start at the drop of the puck, and just really see how our team gels in a regular season game, and I think that'll definitely be a good indicator on how the beginning of our season will go.
Defenseman and assistant captain Brennan Couette. We'll be right back on the Coach's Corner Show. Next up, associate head coach Keenan Kelly. Welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show. I'm now joined by associate head coach Keenan Kelly. And Keenan, you spent 5 years in the NAHL, 4 with the Austin Bruins, 1 last year with the New Mexico Ice Wolves. How has that experience in this league brought you to Wichita Falls and helped you out here so far?
Yeah, well, it definitely prepares you for any obstacle that comes your way in the North American Hockey League. As far as player recruitment, it takes a while to figure out what type of players are successful in this league. And I think going through this offseason, being an extended offseason and having to build a roster from scratch, I think we did a great job as far as finding the experience pieces to be competitive right out of the gate.
Last year on coaching staff with New Mexico for an expansion team. Now you're back first year for an expansion team in Wichita Falls. What can you translate from your time with the Ice Wolves to the Warriors?
Yeah, building a first-year program, there's obviously a lot of hurdles. I think ultimately it's about finding a group of guys that are willing to instill their trust in you and the rest of your staff, and really making a commitment to buy into what you're preaching and ultimately coming together as a group to come out of the gate early on.
So with your 4 years with the Austin Bruins, you're on the rival opposing bench of head coach Garrett Roth. Now you're working with him with the Warriors. How has that been like coming together and building the program?
I think it's been a great partnership, and definitely as far as recruiting goes, it's nice not having to go recruited head-to-head against him anymore. So, you know, him and I, we've definitely won and lost some battles against each other throughout the years, and it's definitely nice to be on the same side for once.
With the team back on the ice for training camp for about a month now after some time off from main camp, what have you been pleased seeing on the ice?
I think really just kind of the explosiveness of some of the younger guys that we have. We kind of knew what we were getting with a lot of the experienced guys that we went after by design. But I think some of our younger guys have really turned our heads and have made our decisions pretty difficult early on.